Fists of Fame.
Does that mean we need to now talk about the bad movies we watched this year? Is that our segue?
That is our
talking
segue.
about the worst and the most disappointing fights of 2023. Are we saving this for the Patreon section?
Yeah, because I know a lot of you guys love negativity, so we're gonna hide that behind a paywall. No, I'm kidding.
So I can start out with the lighter ones. You know, go a little easy on these because yes, making fight scenes, doing action is very, very difficult, and it many times does not turn out the way I'm sure people had it in their mind.
Yeah.
So I always try to be forgiving and understanding, but you also need to judge the final product.
Yes.
So it's a shame when you have a movie about fighting somebody filming themselves for YouTube because they want to be a stunt woman. It's a shame that when they actually do have fight scenes, it doesn't actually look good or turn out the way that they probably imagined it. And despite actually liking the movie, the fights in Polite Society were not up to par with what I hoped they would be.
I was gonna mention the recent Power Rangers movie that came out this year, Once and Always. There's no involvement with Koichi Sakamoto, so it's like pure. It's very low budget, like super low budget. So watching it, it's like none of the fights are good. Like not even for a Power Rangers. Something that came from the Power Rangers franchise. Like it's not good in that regard. Like maybe the closest it gets is towards the end when they have action figures of the Power Rangers in the background. if you recall.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah,
yeah, and they're fighting to save the action figures because that's totally how the plot is. And yeah, it's like we have good pratfalls, but no like fighting. And it's like, really? Like I'm expecting there to be a major fight going on here, and you don't get any of that here.
Time for hip hop keto.
My next disappointing thing, and we talked about this in another episode, is Blue Beetle. Man,
yeah, I did not watch this.
I'm not even big into comic book movies, but when I found out J.J. Perry was going to be involved in the action direction, I thought, oh man, okay, interesting. We have a very well-known guy in the action sphere doing, action for a superhero movie. What will this be like? And considering I really liked what he did with his directorial debut, Night Shift, like I love the wire work in that. I love all the stunt falls in that. I was wondering if maybe that would somehow transcribe into a comic book movie where you have the hero fighting, maybe the endless swarm of bad guys, but you would have these great real performers doing pratfalls and crazy stuff on wires. And ultimately, it's just like forgettable. It's disappointing because his name is attached to it, and I feel that could have been anybody. I don't even recognize any sort of style behind it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, now give me blades. Okay, now give me.
That's a shame. Actually, that kind of pivots me to talk about a movie that I would not normally want to talk about, which I totally forgot existed, which is Knights of the Zodiac.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I wouldn't say disappointed. It's just, I don't have the categories that you do. I just have movies that I just did not like, or fights that I did not like. Because Knights of the Zodiac just fits all that, like every bucket in that, in that, like it has Mark Dacascos. I'm expecting this movie to have some level of competence in terms of fight choreography, and he doesn't fight much. He just fights in like one fight scene.
It's got it's action directed by who is it? Andy Leung, I think.
Andy Long, yeah.
Andy Long, yeah. That's it. So again, similar to J.G. Perry, like you have these very competent fight choreographers, action directors attached to these projects that have supernatural abilities, and then it's like, like what's going to happen? How much CGI is going to take over? Yeah,
and as the movie progresses, it becomes more and more of that. Everything you just described in Blue Beetle was I just had glimpses of Knights of the Zodiac, especially towards the end. It's just a slugfest of who can out superhero the next person, like superpower the next person, because they're just kind of swinging at each other. They're just like throwing each other like miles across the room. It's like that's not a fight.
I got some hot takes. You ready for this?
Sure. Okay, let me hear it.
So, disappointing fights. Bad City. Hallway fight. Tak Sakaguchi versus Masanori Miyamoto.
Yeah, man, no, that fight's like very disappointing.
Here's the hottest take for my disappointments of 2023. You ready for this one?
What is it?
This is...
Oh, we're gonna have to like excommunicate you after this?
maybe.
God.
Maybe you might understand though. Okay.
Sure.
Donnie Yen versus Keanu Reeves in John Wick 4. Man, that is not at all what I wanted from a fight between two people who are now known for doing grappling.
We haven't talked about Furies at all.
Oh, Furies.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm assuming you're not going to, right?
Like, no, I wasn't going to bring it up.
Yeah. I'm realizing that. It's weird because I think about that movie and like I didn't love it, but I remember there being fighting at the end, but it didn't leave much of an impression on me, like at all. And actually, I remember disliking the last fight because of how one-sided it was. And if you recall, Veronica No is kicking everyone's ass, and she's the villain. She's kicking everyone's ass. And how do you subdue her? Oh, you just shoot her.
The worst fight this year is going to a Hollywood movie.
Which one?
And we talked about it. It's... And I'm giving it the worst title because this is a Hollywood movie. Like, this should not happen. Like, with that budget and considering what they're able to do with like other fights, it's just a shame that they didn't build a set for this, because that cameraman in there is just there's nowhere for him to go. There's nowhere to put the camera. They have top-down angles sometimes. Such a disappointing fight.